This is Generational Prodigy Podcast. You are now streaming live with the Trillis. Let's actually get it. And in season 2, you can definitely expect a lot of fun, a lot of laughter, drinks. Come on. And special guests. This is Generational Prodigy Podcast, and you are now streaming live with the Trillis. Let's actually get it. Okay, so the last episode, we talked a little bit about PTSD, and this was just revolving into what our parents have done to us. I personally have a lot of feelings about this because I started to get a little bit more into my emotions. I always had this gangster mode. I always had this had my guard up, always try to give tough. And I think that doing those things hid a lot of just those traumas and stuff that's really going on. And of course, everybody's life somewhere down the line. So I felt like this was something that I wanted to speak on because I think a lot of people that like to tune in and I do have talks with, they'll be able to resonate and it's a little relatable for them. So the topic is just going to touch on just the power of a person's decision making before actually becoming a parent. And secondly, just the history of a person and the behaviors of a person's PTSD traumas for making these decisions before they become a parent. I think that people don't summon to think, I'm not a parent yet, but I've been in a parent placement with my siblings, and I've noticed that a lot of parental decisions is why me and my siblings are in the space we are in now. And this is just being very transparent. If you know, and if you really know me, you know that I have non-negotiables about things that I talk about. But because this is a space where I'm growing a little bit more into opening up so people can get to know who I am, I think it's important. You'll start to really realize why I move a certain way or why I think about a lot of different things. So, of course, before we go there, we got to do the thoughts, the rants, and the eggs. And my first very thought was, if the world stopped working today, I think it'd be a better place. What do you think? Because I feel like we work our ass off and we still struggling to pay bills. Who the fuck voted for the president? Because now, ever since he's been the president, shit just been going wrong. And everybody that voted for him is complaining. But you know what I thought about? Just like Union 33C, they went on a strike because they weren't trying to get no money. And then they try to settle for a small percentage while everybody was sleeping at night because they know if they do that shit during the day, we the one against that shit. But everybody got to go back to work. Everybody got to make some money. We got stuff to do, things to handle. We are responsible, so I get it. But if the world stopped working today, how do you think we would feel? Because money is just a crazy asset. I think that we should just go back to the traditional times and do trades. Like, if you got something that's beneficial for me, I got something that's beneficial for you, we can make this work. But because they want to tear down all the trees and give us money and make us have to need it, we all doing crazy shit for it. Or we stressing ourselves out. We just in a lifestyle and a living that working is causing stress. It's killing our people. And I think that our health would be in a better shape if we didn't work. If we just stopped working today, what would the world do? You can't make us go to work. Like, we gotta be in this together. And y'all know what I'm talking about. We're all in this together. Like, come on. Like, I just feel like we gotta stand for something. And if this was a thing, I'd be happy as shit. I can live in the forest. I don't know about you. I'm a savage. I'm a survivor. Give me a couple leaves and some vines. I'm gonna stitch some shit together with the vines, and we're gonna get a tree house popping. Like, I don't got time for all this. All this stuff is causing me stress. My health, I probably could lose a little weight if I wasn't stressed out about my job. I'm just saying. You know, I work hard. I go to the gym every day, but I think my job's stressing me out. And if we didn't have to work for money, I'd probably be a happy camper. Living in the forest with the lions. Well, I don't know about the lions, tigers, and bears, but give me a giraffe and an elephant and a turtle, and we can make some arrangements. That's just, I feel like everybody would be happier. Everybody personality be great. Hey, good morning. We'll do the old school happier things. We can't do that because we're stressed out about getting up to go to work on time, or we're going to get fired. We don't want to work. I think we need to protest. But I think a lot of people are scared to do that because they ain't going for that shit. We need the money. So maybe in another lifetime, but just know, that's my thought. Because we start working today, I'm just saying, I think we be in a good space. Wow. But, now we're going to just roll into my rant. And I want to know, why do y'all be coming outside stink? You arms reach and stink. You and people's cars stink. You and people's face stink. Everything just stink. And it's getting to a point where we shouldn't have to have fear of telling you stink. Like, if I smell you, you smell you. So I just think that we just got to figure something out. Like, I don't know if this might have a lot to do with people upbringing, or I would hate to think that people just don't care. Like, I would just hate to think that. And I got a little story. I know I always got story time. I'm in an Uber. And the air is on. Okay? The air is on. And I'm just driving. I instantly started to have a conversation with this person that's in my car because they want to talk. 2 minutes into talking, I instantly get a whiff. So I'm like, no, I don't smell ass. Because all this nigga did was say, good morning, how are you? Like regular conversation. And at this point, now I'm frustrated because I don't even want to talk to this nigga no more. And I'm a nice person. I'm a chatty ass person. So if you say something to me, I'm going to talk back. But come on, the breath, I can't give it the breath, y'all. It's becoming a natural attack for me. And I'm just starting to feel like from now on, when people breath stink, if I do this, I think they'll stop and get the point, and then I just walk off. I don't know, but he was in my Uber, so I couldn't really do too much about it. I just wanted him to stop moving his shitty ass mouth. Because at that point, I just started to feel like I was being tested, and God was testing how nice I could be to this person. And I just continued to let him have this conversation, but the air is on. You feel me? So I don't think that there was anything to do about that. But hospitals are very smart, because I feel like if the air wasn't on in the hospital, do you know how bad it would stink? Like the cold air is supposed to block out like bacteria. Supposedly they say like it keep the germs down and all this stuff. Like, and now I'm starting to think the hospital had a great point. You know how much stuff go on in the hospital? And if the air wasn't on, it would probably be very foul. And I don't know. This is reeling me back into my first thought. If we stop working, maybe the hospital wouldn't have to do that. But we need the hospital, so we need the nurses. So, I guess one for one and one for all. I don't fucking know. But for me, I'm just going to leave that there. So we can just roll right into my rant, roll right into my ick. And I just feel like I just want people to get their shit together. That's it. And it's rolling into my stink. Like, the stink thing, everything that requires an adult having proper managing and mannerism on just doing what grown people should do. Just smell good. You can't get Give it a little spritz to the left, a little spritz to the right. Like, I just feel like that's proper grooming. Like, after you get out the shower, you supposed to put, like, oil and lotion and shit on. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've seen women go and get their feet done, and the feet terrible. You could tell they don't wash their feet when they in the shower. Like, well, how don't you wash your toes? Bro, like, what is wrong? You feel like because they down all the way down there, you don't feel like bending down. Like, that's crazy work to me. So I don't know. These are the things that's on my mind. And I feel like I'm the only person that's going to be able to get the point across. I don't know. Y'all tell me. I could be wrong, but I just want y'all to get y'all shit together. I don't want to smell you. And for the ladies, the Chinese people tired of scrubbing the dead skin off the feet. Go get you a little scrub thing from the hair store and hit the feet up. Because when I walk into the nail salon, I don't want to see all your skin on the ground. Like, y'all bitches be the reason why people get foot fungus, and I think that that's a problem. The men too, y'all think y'all low, y'all get your feet done too? Oh my God, y'all got a story. Y'all know I always got a story. I just came from a pool party. Bull feet was toast. You hear me? Like, I couldn't believe he put them feet in the pool water. Oh my God, I got right out. I don't care chlorine or not. I don't want to be around none of that shit. Miss me with that. I just feel like reverting into my state, put some fragrance on. It's too much smell good stuff out here for you to be stink. You should be fragrantized. If that's a word, I just made it up. Fragrantized? That's my shit now. Y'all should be fragrantized because this shit is crazy. I don't know. That's just me. This is my thought rant segment. Take it how you want it. Take it or leave it. Whatever. Shoe fits. Wear it. I don't really care. But now, let's roll into today's topic, which is what have our parents done to us? And the first topic was decision making. A lot of this is like coexisting with the first episode just on the PTSD and things like that. So now this is more so of the offspring of the people that make the PTSD a real thing. Decision making. I think that we don't take decision making serious enough. And what I mean by that is that you have an option to do right or wrong, good or bad, yes or no. And when you are in a space where you feel like you can do what you want and you decide to make a decision that's not really beneficial to the progression of where we're trying to get to, who are people trying to become, especially when you got kids that's looking up to you or that's like, you know, in your walk of life that you chose for them, especially in the beginning. Like, as a child, it's not really much you can do between the ages of course, infant to like 16. I think the consent is like 16 or something, 14 now. It's 14 now. But even a 14-year-old, once they start to be able to make the consent, everything that you've done around this child is now a product and environment of their traumas or whatever it is that's causing them to make the decisions for themselves. And by the time the child is 18, she's either pregnant or he's in jail or somebody's dead or there's kids involved and it's stuff going on that is not easily managed. And you have to teach your kids that decision making is very important. Decision making is very important. And I feel like for the parents, the choice of your spouse is very important because you now have a soul, like a blood soul tie with somebody. And you don't realize that genetics and just the DNA and upbringing of a person really is transferable. It really is. So if you have a spouse and they are a certain way, you have to be mindful that 9 times out of 10, your child might have some duplicate behaviors that could cause the child and the parents' relationship to be good or bad, you know, sweet or sour, however you want to put that. But I think that it comes from the decision making on who you want to deal with. Y'all don't take that serious enough. Like, y'all just be doing anything out here with anybody. And because y'all be in a moment, then y'all start having these offsprings and claiming to procreate and have this legacy. And it don't get us nowhere. because you decided to be with an asshole. You couldn't just fuck the asshole. You wanted to be with the asshole too. Like, it's too many different things going on. You know, living your life and having fun, you might not know who you meet, but this is why you should know what you're doing before you start to engage on building a family or a legacy. Like, that is important. And, you know, somebody like me, I just looked up. My mom and my dad didn't end up together, but they were both two unique people in the brain. For one, of course, my mom, very emotional woman, but she knew how to raise me to be a great person, how to be a better woman than, of course, who she made the decision to be. Not saying that she was a good person, but I got a lot of siblings. I got 8 of the siblings. My mom had 9 kids, so the decisions of her wanting love and wanting affection from men show her how to raise her daughter to not want to fall short in those areas. So it's not really a lot out here that I would summon to, because I know my worth, I know my self-love, and it's not nothing on this planet that's gonna make me be vulnerable or gullible for a decision. If I'm doing something, trust me, it's well thought of. It's probably a little emotion, of course, involved, because I'm still a woman at the end of the day, but we have to have realistic boundaries set to know why I'm moving forward with a decision to be with somebody or to do something. So shout out to my mom, because she raised me to be a great woman, and I appreciate you for that. And then my dad, he just a hustler, like, he, you know, street guy, and just his street smart put me in a place of me knowing how to have my guard up to a degree of knowing what I'm getting myself into. So not only now am I structured to have self-love and know my self-worth, but now it's like I'm playing this alpha and real dominant structure of my mind, because now it's like I'm not just falling into anything for real. So I'm thankful for my parents, you know, and that's just really, everybody's not blessed with stuff like that, or even getting something like that out of it, because being as though my parents wasn't together, it doesn't mean that my decision making had to be the product of what I grew up in. Of course, everybody want to grow up in a 2-parent household, things like that, but I had my stepdad, so I did grow up in a 2-parent household. So again, decision making on your spouse is very important, because me and my siblings, definitely, you can see the different, you can see the different characteristics in us, like certain things I wouldn't do that maybe my sister would, or certain things my brother would think about that I wouldn't, like, or things like that. So just be mindful on when you blend in families as well, because everybody is not meant to be in the same chemistry. So when you choose to have a spouse or have somebody, just be mindful that if you are blending a family, like, you gotta be mindful on what's to come with it. Things might turn out good or bad depending on the type of person you are. So, you know, I just want to just throw that out there. Most of the time, the decision making with the parents is that their emotional traumas and just where they're placed at in life with the things that come to them for the decision making is always like something that they don't look into. I think that history repeats itself. We gotta be mindful of that. And again, this is spouse and decision making, because again, this is a very transparent season. So I realized that I have a history repeated situation going on with a certain someone, and I feel like that's only because I've watched my mom and my dad move through things a certain way, where I'm either trying to give something a chance, or I'm like, no, I want to play the safe card, and this is going to be in a moment. And it's a pro and a con to that, and I just take it really for what it is. I just try not to be too either promiscuous or too hasty or forceful. Like, those things for a girl is like the worst 3 things you can ever do. And again, we talking about bringing kids into this. So, like, this is something that, yes, our parents have done to us, but now what do we do to change the pace of that to move forward and better potential outcomes. You know what I'm saying? So I just want people to be mindful. Like, DNA and genetics is real. And if you're not really too into that, maybe you should be before you decide to have kids and offspring, because now this is reeling into like just connecting with people, places, things, the youth, our own kids. All of that stuff is at stake now because of the emotional activity, the physical activity, and just whatever decision making you're doing to bring this lifestyle for these kids. Like, it's just like we have the advantage to choose how our children's outcome will be. And once the child is old enough to make consent, then you say whatever that child has learned, they will be able to move forward and know, okay, this is not a good idea. This is a bad idea. We don't have enough people pushing the topic of how important it is to have a choice. Like, so, and that's so, I think that's something so small that's not really taken seriously. Like, so I think that this is why a lot of how we respond to our environments or how we respond to our decision making, it just changes the narrative on a lot of things. So I just want to like utilize this episode today to just want people to take their time, like to slow down, because these kids is, again, from my last episode, I mentioned PTSD. Like, the kids are suffering from generational curses and generational things that is naturally being passed down because we have nobody to really give you reality. Like, we just living in this space where it's like we watching things happen and it's getting swept under the rug, and then it's not being talked about. It's not really being taken seriously. And that's a problem. That's a problem. And especially in the urban areas, like I've definitely took a big notice on like county kids living in the suburbs. So like the county and the suburbs is like, to me, I feel like it's two different things. But some people consider the county and the suburbs the same thing. But those kids that grow up in a different space than living in an urban area, they make better decisions. They just do. And that's like 70-30, I would say. 70 for a county kid and like 30 for an urban kid. Now, you have those little bit of percentages where those people that are in urban areas able to come out of those things, but they either being labeled as selfish, standoffish, or the black sheep, or the outcast, whatever. And sometimes that's because they found peace in being alone. Like, I think that some people are afraid to be alone. So as before they're a parent, choosing a spouse and having decision making is because people don't want to live this life alone, like, you know. And I think that what's for you will come. It's people that's about 50, 60 years old that don't have kids at all. Not saying that they didn't want them, but they were decision making, and they lifestyle may have not required them to have children, but at least it was for a happy outcome. They're not making a child suffer because they know how they would feel if they were a single parent. Things like that. Like, and that's another thing. Like, women make decisions and be okay with being single parent, and I just think that that's another big problem. Like, it's decision making. You feel like, oh, I don't need this man. I don't need him. I'm making money. I got this going on. I got that going on. I don't need him to do this or do that. And then next thing you know, now little Lillian don't know what to do with herself. She watching her mom play this independent role. Her dad over here with this girl, that girl. So now she can't trust men because her dad is showing her something that she'll be dealing with when she get older. Like, I don't think all guys cheat, but I think that we got to put back in placement as well. showing kids a certain something. Like, I remember when it was certain times I couldn't be in the room because it was a certain movie scene on the TV. Or like my mom was having company and they was probably drinking or doing whatever. My mom didn't drink, but her a company of people may have been doing these things for fun at the moment, and you gotta leave out the room. Like, as of today, decision making with parents, y'all smoke in front of your kids, y'all drink in front of them, y'all dancing, twerking in front of them, y'all doing all this stuff, and then now you mad that your daughter outside doing anything, or your son a YN now, and just like my last episode, I said he outside with a Swisher jacket on, and he know he hot, but he don't care because all 8 of his other friends living the same life as him, so he feel like it's cool. The whole time, you gonna be in the hospital because your son just had a heat stroke because it's 80,000 degrees outside, and he feel like he need to have on a jacket and a ski mask. So again, decision making because you might have had a fucked up nigga that you had the baby with. Nigga might been a street nigga. And now, little Tyrone acting like big Tyrone, and you can't get out of paying for them jail calls now. You know what I'm saying? Decision making is important. And I feel like when you meet a person in a certain space, leave them where they at. If they not in a space that's comforting or beneficial to building a family moving forward, leave them where they at. Things can be for fun. Things can be for the moment. Stop taking your moments and your fun and creating generational problems. You know what I'm saying? So this was just my personal outlook on just like what our parents have done to us, like, and now my generation becoming parents, like what do we do about the things that we have been accustomed to? Do we make the decision to change them? Or do we make the decision to stay the product of the environment? Like, I just feel like we got an option. And to choose one is very important. Decision making is very important. So without further ado, we're going to wrap this episode up. My next episode, we are going to speak on, I think we're going to do some cocktail shaking. I don't know. I gotta see how I'm feeling. Or we might have another guest. Or I might have my surprise for y'all. Also, I just wanted to bring up that, I always do my annual Halloween parties. So I'm in the process of putting that together. I'm also in the process of finishing a music project that I want to drop in the fall. So stay tuned for that. And I believe that I'm going to try to shoot for a listening party right before the Halloween party. And I want to work with a new artist. So, my next episode, I think I'll have a little more detail to give to you guys. But without further ado, we're going to close this out. This is Generational Prodigy Podcast, and you are now tuning in live with the Trillis. Let's actually get it. That's what you get, cry baby, you such a wimp. Most of them. To the mob, thank you for always tapping in and getting into what I got going on, from the thoughts, the rants, and the icks. We never holding back anything, okay? So without further ado, thank you for always tuning in and supporting me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We out. Excellence!